Welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to have a look at another interesting video in our series Chess Strategy in the Middle Game. So in today's topic is about minority attack in the carlsbud pawn structure. As we can see, this is the carlsbud pawn structure that occurs mainly very frequently in the Queen's Gambit decline variation opening, and also in the Caro-Kann exchange variation as well. So the whole idea for this is in this position, white has the minority pawns in the queen side, which is the A and the B pawns. They just want to push the pawns forward and create weaknesses in black's camp, and that's the whole idea behind this. So here white, this is a game played between two strong grandmasters. So a3 was played. The whole intention is to push the pawns forward and create weaknesses in black's camp. And then we have rook e7. Now I want to show, before we go ahead and show this example of a textbook minority attack, I just want to show the plans for black here. So if you are a person, if your opponent is attacking, having a minority attack, first thing is you have to put the knight on e4. In this position you can't do it, but generally they used to put the knight on e4. Also there will be an attack on the king side. The pawn storm will be on the king side for black in this position. Another interesting thing is, if you cannot do either of them, you can try to exchange pieces against your opponent who's trying to have a minority attack, because minority attacks don't work when you exchange pieces. So if you are exchanging pieces, at the end you won't have enough pieces to exploit your weaknesses. So I will explain that as we go ahead. So okay, rook a b1. The whole idea is to move the rook to the b file because there will be a pawn push on b4 now. Rook a e8, and then we have the b4 pawn push, a takes b, a takes b, and then we have bishop d7, and then here comes the signature move b5. The whole idea, all this preparation was done for this particular move b5. Now this creates weaknesses in black's camp. There are three ways this can go ahead. We'll first have a look at c takes b4. This obviously creates weaknesses. It creates the b isolated pawn on b7 and d5. And this can be after the knight takes. As you can see, there will be two isolated pawns, and you know how to attack these isolated pawns. So that is a weakness. The second one, this is obviously the worst of the three options, playing c5. This is probably the worst because you can simply take on c5. When the queen captures, you play knight d4, and now you still have the same isolated pawns. Also, your knight gets the best outpost, and this is going to be crushing for white. So in this position, however, b5, black played knight e4. So they have first here white simply took on c6. After the pawn took on c6, you have the idea the knight can come to c4 and protect this pawn, because you can see this is the weakness now. The c6 pawn is a weakness for black, and all white has to do is to protect that pawn, and it's a backward pawn as well. So they just want to keep that, put more pressure on that weakness and eventually win that pawn. And that's the whole idea behind this. Rook b6. So now the pawn is fixed and cannot advance. The knights were exchanged here, and then we have queen f6. Bishop takes on g6, queen takes the bishop, and then king f1. Now I will quickly go through some moves because they are not that important. And after queen g5 we have king h2, queen f5 was played. So now can you guess white's move here? You can see where the knight is going. The knight was played to d3, obviously defending the f2 pawn, but the whole idea is to put more pressure on c5. The knight will eventually go there. So after queen e6, now king g1, rook to c8, and then now rook b7. White now takes control of the 7th rank. Rook f7, and then two rooks now pile on that 7th rank. bishop e8, and after queen b4, rook d8, and then we have knight c5. White has achieved all what is needed. They have brought the knight and put it on that square, the c5 square, where now this is going to be a permanent weakness. The c6 pawn is going to be a permanent weakness. This knight is far superior than black's bishop. Also, both of white's rook have taken control of the 7th rank, and exchanging in this position is always going to be favorable for white. And this c6 pawn will eventually fall, which means white will have to play a pawn down, and this will eventually be a win for white. I hope you enjoyed this video. For more videos like this, please like and subscribe, and it's bye for now.